Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1960.
Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Let's talk security today. We do that quite frequently anyway. The recently, shall I say discovered, but the group that has now joined the list of terrorists in the consciousness of Nigerians is known as Lakuwara, and it has been wreaking havoc. And, so we need to talk more a bit about it because we've looked at it and they were said to be people coming in, they're not very, very serious. How many are they? That kind of a thing to give Nigeria trouble, that the matter was very well in hand. But here we are now, and we are hearing news reports that following the resolve of their neighbors and people around to resist them, they've now taken it up a notch, more than a few notches, in fact. They're actually planting IEDs, incendiary explosive devices, aka bombs, at under bridges, and in particular under one bridge in. We'll get to the details of that. And so this, one person is reported to have died, and it is theorized that, well, since the neighbors and the villagers are now, as it were, standing up for themselves, this is very much in the nature of an I told you so. Don't play with us. But let me find out what the professional analysis of this situation is. And our guest today, again, actually, I'm delighted to have Dr. Sani Abdullahi Shinkafi. He is a former Zamfara State Chair of the Committee for the Prosecution of Armed Banditry-Related Offenses. A fine morning to you, Dr. Shinkafi.
Good morning, my brother Yori.
Yes, sir. Yori Folari in studio here. Thank you for making your time.
Good morning, Yori Folari. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for coming on. Now, we spoke about this, if I recall. You sort of you aired the subject, and some of the paraphrasing that I was done actually came from you, along the lines of, these people could not rightly be thought to be able to give Nigeria a serious problem, and that the matter would be dealt with if if memory served me right. But now they've taken it up a bit by planting IEDs under bridges. What does this say? I was reading in one account that there was a community environmental exercise, and it is thought that it is under that ages that they were able to plant these booby traps. But tell me what you know about Lakuwara that seems to be gaining in notoriety.
You see, it is a very unfortunate situation and heartbreaking with the escalation or widespread of this Lakuwara from Sokoto State, where they have started camping, and also spread to Kebbi State, and now they're in Zamfara State and trying to penetrate Kaduna Birnungwari forest. So it's a very unfortunate situation. These Lakuwara are terrorists. And these Lakuwara have been in existence in Nigeria, most especially in Sokoto border, where it shares boundaries with Niger Republic, Bali, Gudu, and part of also Kebbi State in Argungu, where it shares border with also Benin Republic and Niger Republic. Now, some of the remnants of this Lakuwara also have now decided to find a base in Zamfara State in Dansadao Deep Forest. And from Dansadao Forest share boundary with Kebbi State, Inzuru, Wasagu, Dambo, and also Danko Wasagu, and share boundary also with Niger State, Kontagora axis, then and also Birnungwari axis. It's a very deep forest. If this Lakuwara have now found an ongoing space, and to meet with the non-state actors, that is the armed bandit, then things will go out of hand. And the security situation in Zamfara State or in the Northwest will also be compounded. Already we have the problem of insecurity in the Northwest and on part of some North Central. Issue of armed banditry, cattle rustling, kidnapping for ransom, extortion, imposition of taxes and levy by these non-state actors. So if these things have not been curtailed, then it is going to be disastrous. For last week, they planted 3 explosives along Dansadao Highway. In Ergaladima, they planted an explosive. The first explosive they planted, more than 12 people died in a golf vehicle. And the second one they have also planted, a lot of casualties was recorded and some died. Then within interval of 2 days, they planted another explosive in the same answer the axis. So their existence now, or their resurfacing in Zamfara State, will now complicate the issue of insecurity we have at the hand for more than a decade. Now, the most disheartening thing and heartbreaking, the bandits have been using sophisticated arms and ammunition, using rocket launchers, AK-47, all kinds of arms. Now this Lakuwara now apply another criminal methodology of using explosive. So nobody is safe. And for you to travel on road in all parts of Zamfara State, then it is going to be a serious security challenges. So this is the problem. And they must also disheartening thing. The governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, awarded a contract to rehabilitate, reconstruct Dansadao Road, which has been abandoned by the previous administrations for more than 2 decades. And the money were mobilized to the contractor, that is Ntata and Sao. The contract sum is 82 billion naira. With the present economic hardship, and now with this resurfacing of Lakuwara in that Dansadao Road, then it is going to be a serious backwardness for the state. The state funds have been mobilized to the contractor, and the contractor must abandon the site. So they will desert it from the site. If care is not taken, if the government cannot retrieve that money back, automatically the government will be at the loss. At least the minimum I know the government can mobilize for road construction is 30%, and they have mobilized to the site. And you know they cannot go on with the construction. So if care is not taken, then the money will not return to the government account. This is another disheartening situation.
Okay. Before we continue, the Chief of Army Staff has spoken about this Lakuwara group. Let's listen to him and then continue.
I actually visited 2 formations. That's the one in the Northwest, 8th Division, and the Theatre of Operations in the Northeast. Well, basically, I was there to speak with my officers and soldiers and to make them realize that there's need for us to end all this all these forms of insecurity in Nigeria. And I made the bold to tell them that I'm going to do things differently, and I expect better results going forward. We are eating them hard on this, at this end, that's Nigerian end. So we expect them, because what is expected is that once you eat them hard at this end, they will flee to Niger Republic. So now that the Niger Republic is coming on board, that means very soon Lakuwara will be a thing of the past.
Okay, so quite soon we are assured there by the COS that Lakuwara will soon be a thing of the past. Indeed, we got our fingers crossed, and we do hope so. We do trust and believe our boys in uniform, our men in uniform, because it's a very, as you have just explained, Dr. Shikafi, this is getting to be worrying. Let me ask, well, two things. One, we can differentiate between bandits and Lakuwara as a group. Is that the fact? And then, secondly, I wanted to know who is training them? I don't think your local troublemakers, even if they want to be known as non-state actors, have the knowledge. So somebody must be training them to rig up these explosive devices. So that begins to point to a bigger or a larger kind of infrastructure that they have. Could you enlighten us on what you know about who is facilitating this group, especially, well, you've spoken about the devices, the explosive devices. I don't imagine they will be cheap or that you can just buy them off the shelf. So who is behind Lakuwara?
You see, the issue of this Lakuwara has been in existence for more than 6 years.
For more than 6 years?
The secret security agencies, that's the DSS and other intelligence agencies, have made a security gathering, internal security gathering, on the existence of this Lakuwara in Sokoto State, most precisely in Tangaza and in Gudu and in Binji, Gidamadi axis, and also on Fat Og Gada axis, where it shares boundary with Niger Republic, around Doso and Birnin Kwani. And when this intelligence gathering was forwarded to the action agencies during the first administration, they were so reluctant to curtail the excesses of this Lakuwara. When Lakuwara inhabited in that Bali and Gudu axis, they were deceiving the locals that they will help them in the fight against armed banditry. And when they came there, they came with an ideology to promote some Islamic sect like Metasine, like Boko Haram. They are promoting some ideologies, Islamic ideologies. So that's how they deceive people and they penetrate the inhabitants, the locals in such locality. And they expand to become a criminal group called Lakuwara terrorists. So these Lakuwara are not indigenous, they are not indigenous. They came from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger Republic, and some even Senegal, because the way they whip their head. They are doing weavings. And some of them who were killed are not doing circumcision. You understand? So this is the way they behave, and even in their nature, they are tall, like Fulani, this thing, Fulani. You understand?
Yes.
So
where genetically they
so
tend
the
to be
way
tall.
now, they are genetically like Fulani.
What
so
language?
They now
sorry, sir. What
this
language?
This
unites?
Lakuwara can speak Arabic. Yeah, this Lakuwara can speak Arabic, and they speak Hausa fluently, and they can speak also French. Because most of the bordering town in Sokoto and some part of Ibn Zamfara State and Kebbi, they can speak French fluently because they have even intermarried. You understand? And you know, even if I take you back to history, Sheikh Usman Danfodio of blessed memory he migrated from Niger Republic to Gobir, emir of Gobir Empire. And from there, he also migrated to Sokoto and established Sokoto Caliphate. Just to tell you the inter-border relationship.
Do they have Fulfulde as a language too? Do they have Fulfulde as a language
They speak they speak Fulfulde, they speak French, they speak Arabic, they speak Hausa.
Are they in the nature of quasi-scholars?
Yeah, they are quasi-scholars. At the same time, they are terrorists. Because when you are a scholar, you see, if I take you back to the background, the history of Metesine. Marwa Metesine is a Cameroonian. A Metesine believes only in Quran, the ideology in the Quran, the teachings of the Quran. He doesn't believe in Hadith. That is the custom, tradition, and the culture of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, and he started his preaching and recruiting membership in Maiduguri, and later made a base in Kano State. He started recruiting his membership in 1945. And when he was chased out by the colonial masters, after he came back in 70s, then he formed a Metesine group. From the 1979 to 1980, there was a serious unrest. More than 5,000 to 10,000 people were killed by this Metesine set. So this Lakuwara issue and Boko Haram issue, you know, even how the Boko Haram was formed. Historically, Boko Haram started 2002. And also they came to be a terrorist group in 2009, facing the authority, the government. So this Lakuwara issue, the chief of army staff visited Tangaza, Gidamadi troops, and he gave them a morale, and he told his commitment to fight this insecurity. But that time when he went, he was on acting capacity. Now he has been confirmed as a substantive chief of army staff. I'm calling up the new chief of army staff to join hands with the other action security agencies, and also to join hands with the secret police, the DSS, and other intelligence agencies, to make sure that they have enough information, enough intelligence on this Lakuwara, where they are, who are the sponsors. This Lakuwara have been trained by ISWAP, and some of them by ISIS. So the use of explosive is not surprising when these non-state actors are using all kinds of arms and ammunition to cause havoc. It's not surprising. And you know there is some illegal miners operating in that Nsado axis in Zamfara State. Those illegal miners have access to explosive which they use in blasting during their illegal mining activities. So it is very easy for them to have access to explosives. Ministry of Mines and Solid Mineral Development, before for a miner to be allowed to use explosive in Nigeria, he must have a permit to use explosive. He must have a storage facility where he will use that explosive. But this criminal...
sorry, sir. I think that already is the case. Nobody can start using explosives, no matter how legitimate your case is or your matter is, without having the right permit. That is already on ground. You must have a permit.
You must have a permit, and also the security agencies have to inspect. Also, the police command in that state has a bomb squad department. That bomb squad department have to also inspect. And wherever you are going to use the explosive, all the security agencies must be present to ascertain the quantity of the explosive you are going to use legally for blasting in the mining site.
Okay.
So the activities of the illegal miners, because for the first 6 years, the federal government has suspended legitimate mining by the licensed owners to mine in the first state, and that gives uprising to this illegal mining and also continue act of terrorism and continue out of this banditry, because there is a lot of ongoing space. Zamfara has a big land mass in the northwest, has a big land mass. So the security will find it difficult to cover such places. There is a lot of ongoing space, and the security agencies are understaffed, under-equipped, under-motivated, under-trained, under-appreciated by the people in the authority. So the chief of army staff has to sit up, that is belt, and make sure that they fight this criminal squarely.
That's a whole long, depressing list for the anti-terrorism authorities, the soldiers. You know, they're understaffed, underfunded, underappreciated. That's a very long list of, and it's concerning if this is the case. How do we expect these men to do that? But I don't want to make a talking point of that. You have said it. I just wanted to ask in passing, do we know what Lakuwara means? Usually they come and interpret for us and say Boko Haram means this. Do we know what Lakuwara means?
You see, I was telling you deceitfully, they are deceiving people, the inhabitants, the locals, that they came to help them to fight bandits. At the same time, they are promoting their criminal ideologies. Because the state police commissioner in Zamfara state make a public statement that the Lakuwara are responsible for the use of explosives in the highway, not armed bandit. So this Lakuwara, they are trying to promote some Islamic ideologies which are unknown or unpracticed.
Okay, but it doesn't mean anything in our own languages. Yeah. Okay, we can't get to understand it.
These Lakuwara are foreigners.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that. But in the meantime,
they are trying to recruit membership in Nigeria.
Called in. Okay, Joseph. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Joseph.
My name is Joseph, sir.
Okay.
I want to contribute for the issue of the insecurity. But for me, my understanding, I think there's those people. I don't think they disappear or they appear to each of the states they are talking about. I think they walk through whether the forest or the main road. But what I'm trying to say is that my understanding for what I'm trying to say for all these things, I think if the village, for instance, for Katsina here now, if Katsina people have people that guiding the state, and maybe if they have anything that or they see or they know, and then call the police or they call the army, because most of the time, army is saying there's no magic army can use to get this people. There's no magic. If the village or the state, they cannot comply with the army, there's no magic. There's no magic at all. They cannot tell me that there's nowhere people in the village or in the state, they haven't seen these people. They are seeing them. They are seeing them. They are not disappear and appear in the way they are going. They know them. So the point is that they have to comply with the police or with the army so that this thing will solve. So that's my opinion, sir.
All right, then. Thank you for calling in with it, Joseph. For extending this point that Joseph made, we often hear people, like the Chief of Army Staff and other high-ranking security officials advising us that, look, they are ready to do the work. But we, the citizenry, have to assist information. You can't keep quiet. See something, say something. It'll greatly aid their work, is what we've been hearing. I'm going to take a break now, and then when we come back, you'll address that for me, please. The role of the citizenry in helping authorities with information, especially as we are hearing that it is this very help that they were giving to the authorities that has now led to this, upswing in explosions and that kind of a thing. All of that when we come back. Do please stay with us.
The Inspector General of Police has met with senior officers to review the state of security. We are continuing our coverage of the arrest of Godwin Emefiele.
The Senate has summoned the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria to properly brief the Senate regarding the state of the economy.
What I will never take.
Let's now bring you more development from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, where an explosion has taken place. Tell us about this incident.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
Okay, welcome back. And just to let you know, like yesterday, when we had to cross over to Port Harcourt, where some new apartments were being inaugurated, the same will be happening today. But we continue on the program here. That is to say, you can continue watching us by going to our YouTube channel, and people in the diaspora can see us as if nothing was happening. Okay, our guest is Dr. Shinkafi, Dr. Sani Abdullahi Shinkafi, former Zamfara State Chair of the Committee for the Prosecution of Armed Banditry-related Offenses. Okay, so Dr. Shinkafi, what do you make of, first of all, what we read in the papers, that there is some thought that it is because of the cooperation of the people with the authorities and they are sort of resisting to the best of their abilities these Lakuwara bandits, that they have now gone up to the level of bombing their structures and killing as many as you told us at the beginning of the program that they have been killing. So the question is, what do you make of those suggestions that it's because the citizenry up in Zamfara State and the environs was not going to just lie there and be victimized by these people, that they're now going this strong, and it's as a result of their activism. So when you put that next to what we hear from security officials and authorities, that see something, say something, what can you now tell us? Where does this leave us?
Virtually the issue of insecurity in Zamfara State have been eating the all segment of the society. So it is responsibility of every citizen of the state to provide a valid information to security agencies in the fight against these armed bandits and terrorists and other criminal elements in the state. But
okay, one moment, sir. One moment before you continue, sir. Before you continue, I beg your pardon for interrupting you. Let me quickly bring in a caller. George has called in from Ikeja. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, and good morning to the guest.
Yes, Dr. Shinkafi.
Uncle Yori,
good morning. How are you, my brother?
I'm fine, thank you. This issue of insecurity in the country, Uncle Yori, I thought the president was thinking of bringing a new perspective to addressing it. But we seem to be following the same pattern adopted in the past. This case of this new terror group, the people themselves, this is why I'm saying new perspective should be brought in. The people themselves should be enlightened on how to prevent these things. This was how Boko Haram came in style. This one also came in style with an ideology that the people will accept. How come for 6 years nobody came out and told the security agencies of the activities of these people until they started to kill them? I find it difficult to decipher what must have caused that. And then the security agencies themselves do not seem to have any new method of arresting these things when they rear their heads. I think it looks like a business as usual, insecurity. And the government, the president should have a new strategy towards it.
Okay.
I may be wrong. I stand to be corrected. I haven't seen a new approach to addressing insecurity as one would have expected.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for calling in. That insert of the Chief of Army Staff, I was actually alluding to he was here to make a difference, that he was here to improve on past achievements. Yes, one will say this is what all newcomers say to given offices, but these are not very ordinary times. So what would you say? I'm sorry that I interrupted you, Dr. Shinkafi. What would you say to this? Mr. George, calling in from Ikeja, has added another perspective that, look, it's almost as if he's not seeing any difference. Would you say that we are making progress in this war against terrorists?
Well, you see, as I have started earlier, insecurity has now become a serious social menace.
Yeah.
Virtually in all segments of the society, in Zamfara State, in the Northwest, and even in Nigeria in general. So
is it because we don't know how to handle such challenges? Is it because we don't know how to professionally handle such challenges?
Yeah, you see the new Chief of Army Staff, General Olufemi, have said he will do something different. But what the last speaker said, he has not said anything different. So the fight against this insecurity need a total review And the security needs to sit down and look at the area of their sources and look at the area of their failure, area of their strength and their weakness. There is need for the higher military command in Nigeria to change another methodology or another way of tackling insecurity in Nigeria from conventional to technological means. Most of this fight is done in a remote villages, in a deep forest. Some of these forests are not motorable. You cannot even use motorcycle to access some of these criminal hideouts, their camps. But using technological device, using artificial intelligence and using drone and other jet fighters, you can easily identify the hideout and flush them or crush them totally. But using the conventional method, people are seen as a retrogressive way. But for us to make progress, we have to use advanced technology in fighting this criminal. A lot of money are being appropriated in the national budget. Yet, this fight against insecurity has not reached a satisfactory stage. So the Chief Army Staff have promised to do different, but he has to also sit down and look at where are the area of the strength, weakness, where the military need to improve technologically wise, and where do they need to also deploy more security and other to have also a working, to have a synergy with the other sisters agencies. Because lack of collaboration between the security chiefs is also one of the stumbling blocks in this fight against insecurity. Like this Lakuwara issue in Nsado Forest, no doubt about it, the military highest command must use jet fighters to fight this criminal in the hideouts. You cannot use a conventional attacks to attack this criminal, because these locals, some of them have been recruited as informants. Some traditional rulers are aiding and abetting these armed banditry and other criminal elements. So unpatriotic, unscrupulous security agencies, there is higher allegations. Some of them are being arrested for aiding and abetting these insecurities. Some police officers were arrested, supplying arms and ammunition to these armed bandits in the hideout. Army, you understand, civil defense were all arrested in Zamfara State. Nobody knows about their prosecution. So these are some of the challenges: porosity of the border, corruption in the security system.
Yes.
And the chief of army staff have to also relocate some of the officers there. Some of the army or the soldiers posted in this particular local government of Zamfara State, some will be staying there for 5 years, 7 years. You understand? So they will now familiarize with the locals instead of them even to concentrate in doing what they were forced to do. They can even now be a culprit. So these are some of the things. And if you go to Zamfara, from Funtua to Zamfara, you will see not less than 30 checkpoints. But you will hear on that the same highway, motorists are being attacked, are being kidnapped, are being killed.
Okay. Well, they are attacking.
Understand? There should be a check and balances. There should be a check and balancing.
Okay, yes. Now, I was going to ask you, because initially we had felt that Lakuwara, who are those ones? no problem. We'll sort that one out.
I'm not seeing you in the camera here in the studio, Yori.
You are not. But I am still here, and I can see you. We can see you very well,
but
sir.
I don't. Okay, I'm not seeing you. I'm just seeing a program from River State. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was making an announcement. Yes, we are doing an outside broadcast there, but our viewers are still.
Okay.
Mr. George that called in.
I hope you are seeing me well.
Oh yes. Oh yes. The audience is seeing you.
Okay, we should go ahead. We should go ahead.
Audience abroad is seeing you, even in Nigeria, off our YouTube channel, and they are all seeing you. Now, I was going to ask you if religion is a factor, by which I meant, are our men in uniform, are they reluctant to fight because these are their brothers? And it can be a bit traumatic. Because that's one of the things that we said in relation to these terrorists, especially in the Zamfara and the border areas, and it is said that, look, Niger is more or less the same country, but for the British, that we're doing all sorts of divisions. So we have intermarried, we know each other, they move in and out. It can be quite difficult, perhaps, to fight such a foe if he is identified from coming from such an area. So I wanted to ask you, you've mentioned Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, among the places, even Cameroon in relation to I think, was it in relation to Maitasine? You mentioned all of those. Is there a situation where people of the Islamic faith in the military, are they sort of a bit shy of, turning their ire on terrorists who they are related with by religion?
No, you see, the issue of religion here, whether you are a Muslim or Christian, if you have sworn an oath to serve your country in any security agency or in any public service, you must adhere to your oath of office and oath of allegiance. That's nothing.
Indeed.
Of religion.
That is what the book says. You must do that. But how about emotionally?
You must adhere. You emotionally, let me tell you, this issue of Lakuwara is not issue of religious sect. You know, there is a lot of religious sect. You have Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamatus Sunnah. You have Tijaniya set, you have Qadriya, you have Shia, you have this Boko Haram set, they only believe in the Quran, and even Maitasine only believe in the teachings and the practice which are in the Quran. You understand? They don't believe in Hadith, Sunnah, Ijma'i, and Qisas. That is Ijma'i, that's the opinion of Islamic scholars. Kesa is where they will do patawa. So, what I'm saying in a nutshell, the issue of religion, whether an officer in the army or in the police is religion, does not arise in this situation. There is a lot of this ungoverned space, which these non-state actors have occupied. The now resurfacing of or existence of Lakuwara in Zamfara State have complicated or compounded the security situation in Zamfara for the past 2 weeks now. Armed bandits have been rampaging attacks in most of the rural communities in Bukuyum, in Anka, in Kauranamoda, in Birnin Magaji, in Gusau axis on daily basis. Even yesterday in Magami, more than 58 people were kidnapped, some were killed. In 1K, in Bukuyum, these criminal elements attack worshippers inside mosques in some rural communities, kidnapped not less than 100 people, and they were taken to the forest in their hideout. So the issue of religion does not arise. So the security have been doing their best. What the government should do, they should cater for their welfare, and they should be well motivated and appreciated.
Okay.
On the part of the government, on the part of local government, and on the part of the federal government, and on the part of the Ministry of Defense.
All right. Dr. Shinkafi, I'm going to leave that alone for the moment, this subject matter. I'm going to leave it alone. But I didn't announce you so at the top, but you also are Executive Director of Patriots for the Advancement of Peace and Social Development. So I thought I'd just take a couple of moments to get your take on the, shall I say, do I call it a hullabaloo on over reforms, tax reforms especially, and the perception that most of this attack against the reforms, if that is the way to express it, is coming from the north. Did you have an opinion you could share with us on this subject matter?
On the issue of tax reform bill, see, in any nation, you must have some economic policies. And these policies are fiscal policies and tax reforms and monetary policies. All these policies are being established by the government like a fiscal policy and tax reform. Fiscal policy is an even Fiscal Responsibility Act, which now the fiscal policy will be directing the government how to spend money, how to borrow money, and how to also address the issue of taxation in the country, how to administer taxation. The issue of the monetary policies is where the bankers committee with the central bank will sit down and come out with the monetary policy on issue of international trade and also of the interest rate and other international trade, and how to also increase the gross domestic product, or also how to improve the
we don't have very much time.
So on the issue of the tax reform, some people are, these controversies on the issue of tax reform is avoidable if it's clearly handled. The bills are 4 bills: tax administration bill, Nigeria tax revenue service establishment bill, Nigeria tax bill, Nigeria revenue joint tax bill. So these 3 bills, Nigeria tax bill, Nigeria revenue service establishment bill, Nigeria joint revenue board bill, then Nigeria tax administration bill. That Nigeria tax administration bill, Section 77, is very clear on the issue of attribution and derivation. And also Section 22 is also very clear.
We don't have the
most
time,
of these taxes that... Okay, what I'm saying in a nutshell, the issue of the tax reform is good. I'm advising our brothers, the northern governors and the northern extraction, to go and develop their states. This reform is a welcome development, and also it will transform the country. When Mr. President would drop oil subsidy, nobody is complaining because the proceeds of oil subsidy is going to them. When the electricity tariff was increased, none of the governor was complaining loudly. And also, they have to emulate the policy, legacies of the Sardana of Sokoto. We have abundant mineral resources, agriculture. They can develop this agriculture and to also drive taxes and develop.
I want to thank you very much.
Our granite pyramid? Why is born of the north? We have all these.
Dr. Shinkafi,
which of the governor?
I'm so sorry, but you understand my problem here. It's a delight to listen to you, but thank you very much, and also for your comments on the tax reform bills that are in there, as well as, of course, the main subject, which was, the Lakuwara saga. Thank you very much. We'll pick this up again, and especially as it relates to the tax bill, I'm sure we shall be talking with you again shortly. Thank you very much once more, Dr. Sani Abdullahi.
Thank you for having me. I will be glad to come and do a detailed discussion on the tax reform bill.
Exactly. We look forward to that. Okay, so that's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.